Captain Vexar stood alone within the command chamber of the vast ship Last Hope. Beyond the reinforced glass panels stretched endless blackness, pierced only by scattered stars. They shimmered like jewels, but their beauty offered no comfort, only cold light from unreachable places. The vessel itself was colossal, greater than any structure once built on their lost world. Its size was necessary, for within it lived the final remnants of the Zalari. Merely 3,000 souls endured. Once, long ago, their civilization had numbered in the billions. They had raised gleaming cities, woven art of breathtaking splendor, and traveled the galaxy in wonder and delight. That was before their son's death. Vexar still remembered the day scientists revealed the grim truth. Their star had aged beyond saving and was nearing collapse. They had been given 50 years to survive. Some Zalari had migrated to nearby colonies, but when the star finally died, it unleashed lethal waves that consumed every close world. Each colony perished in turn. Only this ship, positioned far enough away, had endured. "Captain," said Morton, seated beside the ancient communications console. His tone carried the weight of sleepless weeks. "I've gone through every frequency again. Nothing. No voices, no replies, only empty static." Vexar acknowledged him with a silent nod. For 3 millennia, they had sailed through the void, always sending the same message. "We are here. Please answer." For 3,000 years they had waited, hoping some distant intelligence would answer their call. Silence had been the only reply. The ship's aging but brilliant computer had calculated their supplies countless times. Food, air, and water remained for perhaps 50 years, 60 if rationed with great care. Beyond that, the Zalari line would vanish. "Captain," another voice came. This time it was Telvis, caretaker of the ship's systems. "The power cores remain stable, but age is catching up. The air recyclers still function, yet their repairs grow more frequent. The water purifiers, I know," Vexar said softly. "How long before something critical fails?" Telvis studied his numbers. "Perhaps 10 years. 20, if fortune favors us." Vexar drifted back toward the glass, resting her thin, elongated fingers against its chill. A red star flared far away, burning like an angry wound in the dark. They had already surveyed it the year before. No planets, no life, no hope. Behind her, the crew labored quietly. Morton continued scanning the void for whispers. Telvis checked another string of diagnostics. Others moved through the corridors, tending to daily duties. Yet Vexar could see the despair in their eyes. Many had begun speaking of surrender, to cut the engines, to let the cold embrace them, to end the struggle peacefully. "Why do we continue?" asked Kevron, the young trainee pilot. "We've searched every star we could reach. We've sent endless greetings. If others existed, would we not have found them already?" Vexar turned. Kevron, still young at merely 2 centuries, had known no world but this ship. No air but what machines provided. "Because," she answered slowly, "our stories remind us the universe is vaster than comprehension. Somewhere in that vastness, others must gaze upward, wondering the same question. We cannot believe we are alone." Kevron lowered his eyes. "And if the stories are false? If it is only us?" The captain did not reply at once. She, too, had asked that question in sleepless hours. What if all their searching was a hollow dream? At last, she spoke. "Then still we search, because hope is the only thing left to us." The bridge grew silent again. Each crew member resumed their tasks, though sorrow hung in the air. Vexar felt it too. Sometimes she longed to collapse, to grieve openly for everything lost, but she was their captain. Strength was her duty. Returning to her chair, she gave quiet orders. Morton, continue scanning. Examine every faint signal. Yes, Captain, he answered without conviction. Telvis, check the transmitters. Our greeting must reach every system we pass. As you command. Vexar lifted her gaze once more to the stars. Somewhere, perhaps, another lonely soul searched as they did, seeking a friend in the dark. She would not surrender. Not yet. 3 months passed. The last hope drifted from system to system, finding barren rocks and poisoned skies. No life, no voices. Morton remained faithfully at his station, ears forever tuned to emptiness. For 50 long years he had done this, day after day the same. Static, background hum, radiation. Never a sign of intelligent life. Until, one day, something changed. He froze, hand hovering over the controls. Within the noise lay a faint anomaly. Not random, not natural. Something patterned, almost musical. His heart raced. He had catalogued lightning storms and magnetic echoes before, but this was structured. "Captain!" Morton shouted, trembling. "Come quickly!" Vexar, in her ready room with star charts spread before her, recognized the urgency in his tone. She rushed to the bridge, faster than she had in years. "What is it?" "Listen," Morton urged, amplifying the sound. At first, only static. Then Vexar heard it. A pulsing rhythm, deliberate and unmistakably artificial, signals repeating, organized with intent. "It's coming from where?" Vexar asked, hardly daring to believe. Morton's hands moved swiftly across the console, filtering the signal through the analysis systems. "The third planet in this system, Captain. The world orbiting the yellow star we entered yesterday." Telvis raised his head from the science display. "Captain, I'm detecting readings from the surface. The planet has liquid water, breathable air, and clear signs of life. Abundant life." "Intelligent life?" Vexar pressed. Telvis studied the numbers again. "The signals suggest so, yes, but their technology is rudimentary. These transmissions are primitive compared to ours. They're scarcely beyond where we were 5 millennia. Ago." Vexar's gaze fixed on the speakers as more transmissions streamed in. Now that they knew what to seek, dozens of voices emerged. Some conversations, some melodies, others flowing like data between machines. "Can you translate any of it?" she asked. Morton shook his head. "Not yet, Captain. But the computers are identifying linguistic patterns already. With a few hours, I should be able to break out some basic terms." "What do they call themselves?" Vexar asked. Morton listened again, cross-referencing symbols. "From the fragments I can piece together, they call themselves humans." For hours afterward, the crew crowded the communications station, enraptured by the alien transmissions. Humans spoke endlessly, their voices bouncing across their world and even reaching into the void. Some signals were clearly intended for other humans, while others seemed projected outward without destination. "Captain," young Kevron asked, "why would they send messages into nothingness? Are they trying to speak with someone?" Telvis leaned closer, pointing at one broadcast. "Look here. This signal isn't aimed at any receiver. It radiates outward in every direction. It's as though they hope someone might hear." "Just as we do," Vexar whispered. Exactly as they did. The computers unraveled more of the human language piece by piece. Patterns emerged, names, identifiers, concepts. Their home was called Earth, their star, Sol. Their planet was divided into countless groups and nations. But it wasn't division that astonished the Zalari most. It was what the humans were sharing. The signals carried not only voices, but also mathematics, music, art, and plain messages reaching out into the void. Greetings, questions, hopes. Again and again, their words carried the same plea. "Hello? Is anyone there?" In so many languages, Morton said in awe. "They're searching for us." "Amazing," Vexar murmured. They don't even know we exist, yet they hope we do. Telvis continued scanning the data streaming in from the human world. Captain, this species is astonishingly young. They've possessed radio technology for scarcely a century. Their travels beyond their home have been brief, tiny steps into space. And still, Vexar said softly, they reach outward. Though alone, though they have no proof of listeners, they cast their voices into the stars. She leaned closer as a new transmission filled the chamber, this time not words, but music, gentle, haunting, strangely comforting. It touched something deep within her, easing a sorrow she had carried for centuries. Captain, Kevron asked hesitantly, should we answer them? Vexar hesitated. These beings were so primitive, their civilization still in its infancy. What could they offer a people who had journeyed among the stars for thousands of years? But then she remembered. The humans were doing exactly what the Zalari had done, refusing to surrender to silence. They hoped, even without evidence. Yes, she said at last. We will answer. The following morning, Vexar assembled her senior officers on the bridge. They had spent the night, absorbing human transmissions, pulling words and fragments from the noise. The computers had mapped much of the language, but communication would still be fragile. We must proceed with care, Vexar told them. These humans have never faced beings beyond their world. If we frighten them, they may fall silent. Morton had prepared a reply using mathematics and fundamental science, concepts universal across all existence, sequences of numbers, basic arithmetic, the atom's structure, elementary physics. If the humans could craft radios, they should understand. Transmit, Vexar ordered. A signal shot outward toward the pale blue planet. At light speed, it would take minutes to arrive, and more minutes for any answer. The crew sat in silence, eyes fixed on the console. 10 minutes passed, then 20, 30. Perhaps they did not hear, Kevron suggested quietly. Or perhaps they are afraid, Telvis murmured. Then the speakers crackled too. A woman, Morton replied. The system suggests her name is Kim Ji, likely a scientist. For an hour they exchanged fragments, math, simple radio-drawn pictures. The Zalari responded in kind. Slowly, bridges formed. More human voices joined the dialogue. Park Mainho, skilled in radio craft. Lee Sububain, helping with languages. Others from every corner of Earth, each offering skills to reach the strangers above. Listen to them, Morton whispered in awe. They're not frightened at all. They're rejoicing. Indeed, even when the Zalari could not yet decipher all the words, the human voices rang with joy. These people have dreamed of this, Telvis said, just as we have. By day's end, communications had improved dramatically. The humans learned with astonishing speed, working together fluidly. Where one faltered, another contributed. By evening, simple sentences flowed between them. Dr. Kim Ji spoke haltingly. Hello, friends from the stars. In return, Vexar managed, greetings from the ship Last Hope. But it was what the humans chose to share that stunned the Zalari. They asked for no weapons, no advanced machines. Instead, they offered music, art, glimpses of their world, stories of their lives. Listen to this, Morton said, as another transmission arrived. It was music, unlike anything Zalari ears had known. Full of vitality, rising and soaring as though wings carried the sound skyward. Hope lived in every note. Around her, Vexar saw crew members straighten, their eyes bright for the first time in centuries. They created this for us, she realized. New music. A welcome. Kevron stared at the console, tears shining. Captain, they truly wish to be our friends, don't they? Yes, Vexar whispered. I believe they do. That night, as Last Hope circled Earth, the Zalari listened, Stories, songs, voices of an entire world reaching out to them. Songs, messages of friendship, and simple questions about life among the stars filled the air. The humans wanted to know everything: what the Zalari looked like, where they came from, how they lived, and what they had seen across the galaxy. But most of all, they repeated the same message: welcome. You are not alone anymore. For the first time in 3,000 years, hope returned to the Bridge of the Last Hope. 2 weeks had passed since first contact, and the ship had become a busy hub, as Zalari crew members worked tirelessly to improve communication with their new friends on Earth. Humans learned words quickly, and the Zalari grew better at understanding human speech. Dr. Kim Gaiwan became the primary link. She worked at a place called Seoul National University and seemed never to sleep. Every few hours, she sent fresh questions about Zalari science and culture. One morning, Captain Morton said, "The humans want to know more about our situation. Dr. Kim asks why we travel through space instead of living on a planet." Vexar hesitated. They had shared some basics, but not the truth, that their people were dying. She feared such news might drive the humans away. Vexter finally decided, "Tell her the truth. If we are to be friends, they must know who we really are." So Morton explained everything. He told Dr. Kim of their son's death, their destroyed colonies, and how only 3,000 remained aboard one ship. He explained their failing life support with barely 50 years left. Earth's reply was instant and firm. "No," Dr. Kim said in careful but clear words. "That cannot happen. You are our friends now. We will not let you die." Within hours, people across Earth, scientists, engineers, students, even children, were working on the Zalari's problem. They requested technical data about the ship, its systems, and failing parts. Captain Telvis asked, "They want our schematics. Should we send them?" "Yes," Vexter said. "Give them everything." Humans studied Zalari systems with astonishing speed. Though their own technology was simpler, they grasped the principles quickly and, more importantly, approached problems differently. "We think like engineers," Telvis admitted. "They think like artists. They see what we miss." The breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Park Min-ho, a radio engineer in Busan, had worked with scientists on Zalari gravity generators, ancient machines that produced artificial gravity and also filtered air, but were failing with age. One day, he brought his 12-year-old son, Hayok, to listen. After quietly observing, Hayok asked, "Why don't they just run the gravity field backwards through the air machines?" The adults stared. "What do you mean, son?" Park asked. "Well," Hayok explained, "if the gravity pushes down and the air machines pull in dirty air and push out clean, what if you used the gravity push to help move the air, like a fan through a filter?" Park froze, then turned to the scientists. "Could that work?" 6 hours of calculations and checks followed. The idea was so simple no one had thought of it before. By routing reversed gravity fields through parts of the life support, the air processors could be vastly improved. Captain Telvis exclaimed, "If this works, we gain centuries instead of decades." Zalari engineers rushed to test it. First, small models, then larger ones. Each trial succeeded. At last, they were ready to modify the core system. "Begin the modifications," Vexter ordered. For 3 days, crews worked around the clock, with humans offering constant encouragement and ideas. Dr. Kim barely slept, coordinating between Earth and the ship. On the 4th day, the new system was activated. "It works perfectly," Telvis reported, eyes wet. "Efficiency is up to 140%. Our life support could last 800 years. Yet the humans were not finished. Lee Sububin, the linguistics professor, had been working with others on Earth to create something special for their alien friends. She called it a gift of welcome. Captain Vexar listened as her voice came through the radio. "We have made something for you. It is not technology or science. It is, how do you say, art from the heart." What followed was the most beautiful sound the Zalari had ever heard. Hundreds of human voices singing together in harmony, performing a song written just for them. The lyrics, sung in both human languages and Zalari, told a story of friendship across the stars, promising that no one would ever be alone again. As the music echoed through the ship's speakers, Zalari across the vessel stopped to listen. Many wept, not from grief, but from a feeling long forgotten, joy. "I want to learn how to make music like that," said young Captain Kevron. Vexter smiled. "Then we shall ask our human friends to teach us." A full year had passed since the Zalari first heard voices from the small blue world. The last hope no longer drifted aimlessly, but now traveled with purpose, toward Earth, where thousands of friends awaited them. Captain Vexar stood at her, usual place by the bridge windows, yet everything had changed. The ship thrummed with life. The modified systems worked so well that the air smelled fresher than it had in decades. Lights glowed brighter, and most importantly, her people were happy once again. From the comm station, Captain Morton announced, "Message incoming from Dr. Kim Gaiwan." "Put it through," Vexar ordered. Dr. Kim's voice, fluent now in Zalari, filled the room. "Good morning, Captain Vexar. I bring exciting news. This week, we detected signals from 17 new civilizations. The network is expanding faster than we ever dreamed." Vexar smiled. This was her favorite part of their bond with humanity. The humans had not been satisfied simply to save the Zalari. They dreamed bigger. After hearing of the Zalari's long search for intelligent life, they had begun sending powerful broadcasts into space, messages not just for the Zalari but for anyone listening. Their call was simple. "This is Earth. We are here. If you are lost, if you are alone, if you need help, we will find a way." The results were astounding. First came the crystalline Shardik from the galaxy's edge, who had thought themselves the last intelligent species. They wept tears of joy that crystallized into singing gems. Then the Corvani answered from another galaxy, explorers like the Zalari but stranded after a cosmic storm. With human coordination and Zalari engineering, their ship was repaired. Next came the aquatic Veltari, dwelling in vast ocean worlds. They had radio but had never considered searching beyond their seas. Humans taught them to reach out, opening entire new futures for them. "How many species are we now in contact with?" Vexar asked. 43 confirmed, Dr. Kim replied, "and more every week. It seems the galaxy was full of lonely voices, just waiting for someone to say hello." Telvis looked up from his console. "Captain, a direct transmission from Earth. It's young Hayok." The boy who once saved their ship had become a celebrity across worlds. His clever solution to their failing systems had made him famous. But more importantly, he was a friend to many Zalari children. "Hello, Captain Vexar," came his cheerful voice. "Dad says you'll arrive in time for my 13th birthday. Will you really teach me about engineering?" "It would be my honor, young friend," Vexar replied. "And I hope you'll teach me more about human creativity. Your people have shown us new ways to solve old problems." "Oh, and guess what?" Hayok added excitedly. "We got a message from new aliens yesterday. They call themselves the and they're amazing farmers. They want to share food-growing techniques. Mom says we'll have the biggest interspecies feast in history when you arrive." When the call ended, Vexar walked the ship's corridors. Everywhere she looked, she saw the changes humanity had inspired. Zalari children studied human languages and drew pictures of their new friends. Adults composed music in human styles, sending it through the alien network. Scientists collaborated with researchers from dozens of worlds. Most importantly, her people had hope again. "Captain," said young Cran, now training as a diplomat for interspecies relations, "do you think we'll ever stop discovering new civilizations?" Vexar answered softly, "I hope not. Humans taught us the universe was never empty. We simply weren't listening the right way." That evening, Vexar returned to the bridge for their daily network session. Dozens of voices from across the stars blended together, different languages, species, and ideas all united to share knowledge and solve problems. She thought back to just a year ago, when her people had been dying alone in the dark, convinced they were the last intelligence in a cold void. Now they were part of something beautiful, a galactic community born from one human idea, that no one should face the darkness alone. "Captain," Morton said, "Earth requests our daily status report." Vexar looked out at the stars, which no longer seemed cold or distant. "Tell them," she said quietly, "we are not alone anymore. Tell them we are coming home." And as the last hope sailed toward the small blue planet that had changed everything, the galaxy itself seemed alive with new voices and connections. The age of cosmic loneliness had ended, replaced by a shared truth, the words that had become the motto of their interstellar family: "We are here. You are not alone.